Reserved? Honey, we're the guests of honor tonight. We can sit wherever we want. This is OUR party. I think there's been a mistake. This table is reserved for Marcus Johnson. Marcus Johnson is our investor. He's probably some old white guy in a corner office.
Nice try, buddy.
We're about to close the biggest deal of our lives. Security can help you find another seat. No. Ersha, no. You're Marcus Johnson?
What happens when you steal someone's seat at a party and then discover they're about to change your life forever? This couple's night went from celebration to catastrophe in seconds. And trust me, what you're about to witness will make your jaw drop. This isn't just about a stolen seat. This is about respect, assumptions, and the most expensive mistake two entrepreneurs ever made. Stay till the end because karma doesn't just knock, it demolishes the door. Picture this, a glamorous party, champagne flowing, dreams about to come true. A couple on the verge of securing millions for their startup. One empty seat, one split-second decision, and a consequence that would destroy everything they'd worked for. This story proves that how you treat people when you think nobody's watching reveals exactly who you are. And sometimes, the universe has a way of making sure everyone finds out. You see, we live in a world where first impressions happen in milliseconds, where assumptions are made before words are even spoken, where people judge books by their covers and pay the ultimate price. Tonight, you're going to witness one of the most satisfying moments of instant karma ever recorded. This isn't fiction. This is the cold, hard reality of what happens when prejudice meets consequence. So buckle up, because Jennifer and David Martinez are about to learn the most expensive lesson of their lives. A lesson that cost them $2 million, their company, their reputation, and their future. All because of one seat, one man, one moment of revealing their true character. Let's dive into how a 5-minute conversation destroyed years of hard work. Marcus Johnson stood at the entrance of the Grand Bellevue Hotel ballroom, adjusting his navy suit jacket and taking a deep breath. The 42-year-old venture capitalist had built an empire from nothing, growing up in a rough neighborhood, working 3 jobs through college, earning his MBA from Stanford, and eventually founding one of the most successful investment firms in Silicon Valley. Tonight was supposed to be special, memorable even. After months of searching for the perfect startup to invest in, reviewing hundreds of business plans, and sitting through countless pitch meetings, he'd finally found it. TechFlow Solutions, a promising software company run by ambitious entrepreneurs Jennifer and David Martinez. The couple had no idea what Marcus looked like. Their entire relationship had been carefully orchestrated through emails, phone calls, and video conferences with his assistant, Sarah Chun. Marcus preferred it this way. He liked to observe potential business partners in their natural environment before revealing himself. It gave him insight into their true character, how they treated staff, how they handled pressure, how they conducted themselves when they thought no important eyes were watching. Tonight was the big reveal. The night Marcus would meet them face to face, shake their hands, look them in the eyes, and finalize the $2 million investment that would save their struggling company from bankruptcy. Marcus scanned the crowded room with experienced eyes. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over everything. String lights twinkled overhead like stars captured and brought indoors. Champagne flowed freely from bottles that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Startup founders in expensive suits mingled with potential investors, everyone playing the networking game, everyone pitching, everyone hoping. The energy was electric, a mix of desperation and ambition, hope and anxiety. This was where dreams either came true or died. His assistant had done excellent work. Table 7 was positioned perfectly, right near the stage where the evening's presentations would take place, close enough to matter, but not so prominent as to be ostentatious. As he approached, he noticed a small, reserved, Marcus Johnson placard sitting prominently on the white tablecloth, surrounded by elegant place settings and a small bouquet of white roses. Perfect. He set down his leather briefcase, placed his phone on the table beside the placard, and headed to the bar to grab a drink. What could possibly go wrong in 5 minutes? He was about to find out that 5 minutes was more than enough time for everything to fall apart. Everything went wrong. When Marcus returned with his sparkling water, he never drank alcohol at business events, needing his mind sharp and clear. His heart sank like a stone dropping into deep water. A well-dressed couple had completely taken over his table. His briefcase was shoved carelessly to the side, pushed against the table leg like unwanted luggage. His phone had been moved to an empty chair, the reserved placard nowhere to be seen. And they were laughing loudly, completely at home, acting like they owned not just the table, but the entire venue. The woman wore a designer dress that probably cost $3,000, her jewelry catching the light with every animated gesture. The man had on an expensive suit, his watch alone worth more than a decent used car. They looked successful, confident, untouchable. They looked like people who were used to getting exactly what they wanted. "Excuse me," Marcus said politely, his voice calm and professional. "I think there's been a mistake. This table is reserved." The woman, Jennifer Martinez, though Marcus didn't know it yet, barely glanced up from her champagne glass. When she did, her eyes swept over him with a look he'd seen too many times in his life. Dismissal, judgment, assumption, reserved. Honey, we're the guests of honor tonight. We can sit wherever we want. This is our party. David Martinez leaned back in his chair with a smirk that made Marcus's blood pressure rise. His body language screamed entitlement, privilege, arrogance. Yeah, buddy. Maybe try one of those tables in the back corner. I'm sure you'll be comfortable there. Or check with the catering staff. They might know where you're supposed to be. The implication was clear, insultingly clear. Marcus felt his jaw tighten, felt the familiar anger rising in his chest. Anger he'd learned to control over decades of facing similar situations. But he remained calm, professional. He hadn't built a multi-million-dollar investment firm by losing his temper. I understand you're important guests, but my name should be on that reservation. If you could just check the placard that was here. Listen, Jennifer interrupted, waving her hand dismissively like she was shooing away an annoying insect, her voice dripping with condescension. We've been working too hard, dealing with too much stress to deal with this tonight. We're about to close the biggest deal of our lives. Security is right over there if you need help finding another seat. I'm sure they can sort this out for you. The surrounding tables had gone quiet. Conversations died mid-sentence. People were watching now, some with their phones already out. Marcus could feel dozens of eyes on him, could hear the whispers starting like a gathering storm, could sense the tension building. He recognized the look in the couple's eyes, the same assumptions he'd faced his entire life, no matter how many degrees he earned, how many companies he built, how much wealth he accumulated, or how many suits he bought. I'm going to say this one more time, Marcus said, his voice steady but carrying an edge of steel that made several nearby guests lean in closer. This table is reserved for Marcus Johnson. That's me, and I strongly suggest you check who exactly you're speaking to before this situation gets any worse for you. Marcus Johnson? David actually laughed, a loud, mocking laugh that carried across the ballroom and made heads turn. He looked at his wife with amusement dancing in his eyes, like he'd just heard the funniest joke of the year. Honey, can you believe this? Marcus Johnson is our investor. He's probably some old white guy in a corner office somewhere, probably didn't even come tonight, and sent a representative. This is absolutely ridiculous. The audacity. Jennifer joined in the laughter, her voice loud enough that people 3 tables away could hear every word. Can you imagine? Nice try, buddy. But you're not fooling anyone. Maybe stick to a more believable story next time. That's when everything changed. The event coordinator, a young woman named Amanda who'd been managing these events for 5 years, came rushing over with her tablet in hand. Her face was pale with panic, her eyes wide with horror as she realized what was happening. She'd stepped away for literally 3 minutes to handle a catering issue, and in that time, disaster had struck. Mr. Johnson, sir, I am so sorry. I stepped away for just a moment, and she turned to Jennifer and David, her voice sharp with authority and barely contained anger. What are you two doing? Do you have any idea what you've just done? This is Marcus Johnson's table, your investor, the man you've been waiting 6 months to meet, the man who holds your company's future in his hands. The color drained from Jennifer's face like someone had pulled a plug. Her champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor in a spray of crystal and liquid. David's smug smile vanished instantly, replaced by an expression of pure, unadulterated horror. His mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Wait, what? Jennifer's voice came out as barely a whisper, strangled and desperate. No. This can't be, we thought. Marcus smiled, but there was absolutely no warmth in it. It was the smile of a man who'd seen this movie before, who knew exactly how it ended, who felt more disappointment than satisfaction. Marcus Johnson, venture capitalist, Stanford MBA, founder of Johnson Capital Investments. And yes, I'm black. Pleasure to finally meet you both in person. Though I wish I could say the circumstances were different. The ballroom seemed to freeze in time. Every conversation stopped. Every eye turned to table 7. Jennifer's hand flew to her mouth, her perfectly applied makeup already starting to run as tears formed. David looked like he might actually be sick, his expensive suit suddenly feeling like a costume, his confidence evaporating like morning mist. Mr. Johnson, we thought, Jennifer stammered, standing up so fast her chair toppled backward with a crash that echoed through the silent ballroom. Her hands were shaking, reaching out toward him in a pleading gesture. Please, you have to understand. You thought what exactly? Marcus asked calmly, his voice cutting through her excuses like a surgical knife. That your $2 million investor couldn't possibly be a black man? That someone who looks like me couldn't possibly belong at the main table? That I must be catering staff or security or someone who wandered in off the street? Tell me, Jennifer, what exactly did you think? David opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. No words came out. For a man who'd pitched his company to dozens of investors, he suddenly couldn't form a single coherent sentence. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the air-conditioned room. The investment contract was supposed to be signed tonight. Marcus continued, picking up his briefcase with deliberate slowness, every movement measured and purposeful. Was past tense. I don't do business with people who judge based on appearance rather than character. I don't invest in people who treat others as less than human. I don't build partnerships with individuals who only show respect when they think someone is important. Your true character showed me everything I needed to know in less than 5 minutes. And character, as they say, is destiny. Please, Jennifer begged, tears now flowing freely down her face, destroying her makeup, her voice breaking. We made a terrible, terrible mistake. Our company, we need this investment desperately. We'll lose everything. Our employees, our dreams, years of work. Please give us another chance. We're not bad people, aren't you? Marcus interrupted quietly, his words hitting harder than any shout could have. Because bad people don't think they're bad. They just think they're practical, realistic, making reasonable assumptions. But here's the truth, Jennifer, you revealed who you really are when you thought it didn't matter. You showed me how you treat people when you think there are no consequences. And that tells me everything about how you treat employees, customers, partners. Everything. You already lost everything the moment you decided I didn't deserve basic human respect. Good luck finding another investor willing to take a chance on people who judge character by skin color. The silence was deafening as Marcus walked away, his footsteps echoing on the marble floor. Behind him, Jennifer collapsed into her chair, sobbing. David just stood frozen, watching their dreams walk out the door. The surrounding guests couldn't stop staring, phones capturing every moment, the story already spreading through text messages and social media posts. As Marcus reached the exit, the event coordinator caught up with him. Mr. Johnson, I am so deeply sorry. He smiled at her, this time with genuine warmth. Not your fault, Amanda. You actually did me a favor. Better to know now than after I'd invested millions. He paused at the door, looking back one last time at the couple who'd just destroyed their own future. Character always reveals itself eventually. Tonight it just happened faster than usual. Within minutes, the story would spread through the startup community like wildfire. Within hours, it would be the talk of Silicon Valley. Within days, TechFlow Solutions would become a cautionary tale told in business schools. Within weeks, they'd declare bankruptcy, unable to find any investor willing to touch them. Their reputation was destroyed more thoroughly than any lawsuit could have accomplished. Marcus, meanwhile, found another promising startup that same month, one run by humble entrepreneurs who treated the janitor with the same respect as the CEO. He invested $3 million. That company is now worth $50 million and employs over 200 people. Because Marcus knew something Jennifer and David never learned. Success isn't just about the product, it's about the people. Because here's the truth that everyone needs to understand. Character matters infinitely more than credentials. Respect costs nothing but means absolutely everything. How you treat people when you think nobody important is watching reveals who you really are at your core. And you never, ever know who's watching, who's listening, or who could change your life, for better or worse, in a single moment. So if you learned something powerful from this story, if this gave you chills, smash that like button right now. Subscribe and hit that notification bell because these real-life lessons about respect, character, and consequences don't teach themselves. And here's my question for you in the comments. Have you ever witnessed someone judge too quickly and pay the ultimate price? Or have you been underestimated because of how you looked? Drop your stories below. The most powerful one gets pinned and a heart from me. Let's build a community that values character over appearance. Now let's keep this conversation going. Have you ever been underestimated because of how you looked? Or witnessed someone make the same costly mistake as Jennifer and David? What happened? Share your story below. Backhand index pointing down, the most impactful story gets pinned.